There are over 70,000 square miles in North Dakota, but less than 800,000 people live there. That's fewer people than in San Francisco. And yet, this state is the 19th largest in the entire country. It has oil, farmland, small cities, and a long history of settlement. But still, people keep moving out. Between 2021 and 2022, North Dakota lost nearly 3,000 residents, while its neighbor Montana gained over 16,000. That might seem odd, since the two states share the same region and some similar landscapes. So what makes North Dakota different, and why do so few people stay? Well, it's not just the cold winters or empty roads. It's a deeper mix of geography, history, climate, economy, and the kind of lifestyle that comes with living here. Today, we're going to take a closer look at why North Dakota, despite all its land and potential, remains one of the quietest corners of America. To understand why so few people call this place home, we need to start with what shapes everything here, the land itself, and the weather that comes with it. Reason 1. Harsh weather. North Dakota's weather isn't just cold, it's brutal. In the winter, temperatures can drop to -60 degrees Fahrenheit, and wind chills make it feel even worse. Snow falls hard here, over 3 feet in many areas, and it can show up in almost every month except July and August. Storms come fast, with strong winds that can shut down roads, cut power, and keep people stuck indoors for days. And just when winter ends, summer swings the other way, hitting over 100 degrees, sometimes within just weeks of freezing cold. North Dakota has one of the biggest temperature swings in the whole country, a whopping 181 degrees between its hottest and coldest days. To make things worse, tornadoes are common too, with about 23 every year, and they can do serious damage to small towns. All of this makes daily life harder, more expensive, and less predictable, even with modern tools and technology. For many people, it's just too much to deal with, and that's a big reason why so few people choose to live here. Reason 2. Geographic limits. Cold weather isn't the only thing that keeps people away. The land itself plays a big role too. North Dakota's landscape is not all the same. It changes a lot from east to west. The eastern side, called the Red River Valley, is flat and fertile, perfect for farming, and it gets more rain than the rest of the state. That's where you'll find most of the small towns and farming communities growing wheat, corn, sugar beets, and more. But once you head west, the land starts to rise and roll, with fewer lakes and less rainfall. Out in the far west, you reach the Badlands, rocky, dry, and shaped by wind and erosion, with clay hills and burning coal beds that turn the ground red. It's beautiful to look at, but it's not the kind of place where many people settle or plant crops. That's why most of the state's population is clustered in the east, where the land is easier to farm and live on. The rest? It's just not built for lots of people, and that uneven geography helps explain why North Dakota feels so empty. Reason 3. History of settlement and outmigration. Long before settlers arrived, Native American nations had learned how to live with the land, some farming by rivers, others following bison across the plains. When the U.S. government offered free land through the Homestead Act in the 1802, thousands of immigrants from Germany and Scandinavia came looking for a new start. They built farms, towns, and even massive bonanza farms that stretched across the flat eastern plains. But life was tough. Harsh winters, crop failures, and long stretches of loneliness broke many settlers' hopes. The worst came in the 1932, when the Great Depression and years of drought hit at the same time, wiping out farms and sending tens of thousands of people packing. Dust storms rolled in so thick they buried fences and darkened the sky, and over 80,000 people left the state that decade alone. Even after the hard times passed, the memory stayed, and for generations, North Dakota became known as a place people left, not one they moved to. That long pattern of boom and bust helped shape the low population we still see today. Reason 4. A narrow, volatile economy. North Dakota's economy runs on two powerful engines, farming and oil. Agriculture alone supports 123,000 jobs, brings in over $41 billion a year, and produces crops like wheat, corn, and sunflowers across the eastern plains. One farmer today can feed 155 people, thanks to machines, chemicals, and new seeds. But that also means fewer people are needed on each farm. Big companies now run giant feedlots and dairies, like Riverview Dairy, leaving small family farms struggling to compete. In the West, oil from the Bakken Formation changed everything. Over 11,000 wells pump out about 1 million barrels a day, making North Dakota the second largest oil state after Texas. But this boom brought problems. Fracking polluted water, traffic kicked up dust, and gas flares lit the night sky while wasting energy. Man camps, built for temporary oil workers, led to a 70% rise in violent crime near native lands, with native and black residents hit hardest. And while the oil boom brought jobs, many were short-term, and workers left as soon as prices dropped. Even remote workers aren't staying in Montana. Homes cost less, and property taxes are lower, making it the better deal for people working from home. Reason 5. It's boring. Some people say the biggest reason they don't live in North Dakota is simple. It's boring. With just around 800,000 people total spread across a state the size of South Dakota, it can feel quiet, maybe too quiet. That's about 12 people per square mile, compared to over 1,300-inch New Jersey or 900-inch Massachusetts. So if you're used to concerts, shopping, nightlife, or big city buzz, you won't find much of that here. And with fewer things to do, especially in rural towns, some folks turn to drinking to fill the time. Sadly, North Dakota has the highest binge drinking rate in the country. Nearly 1 in 4 adults report drinking heavily. That's not just a health concern, it's a safety issue too, with 46.7% of all traffic deaths in the state linked to alcohol. So even though the land is wide and the air is clean, for many people, life in North Dakota just feels empty. And that feeling is one more reason why most Americans choose to live or stay somewhere else. Reason 6. Too lonely. Another reason people skip over North Dakota? It can feel really lonely. Sure, a small population doesn't always mean isolation. Big cities can be packed with friendly faces. But in North Dakota, that's not how it works. With only 12 people per square mile, most of the state is made up of wide, rural spaces where neighbors might live miles apart. If you're hoping for a cozy neighborhood or bustling town life, you may find long stretches of empty road instead. Even though folks here are known to be kind and welcoming, it's tough to build community if you hardly see anyone day to day. That kind of distance can be peaceful for some, but for others, it just feels quiet and isolating. Especially if you're new to the area, it can take a while or forever to find that sense of belonging. And that quiet loneliness? It's one more reason people look elsewhere when choosing a place to call home. Reason 7. There's not much culture. Now let's talk about something a lot of people look for in a place to live: culture and entertainment. And truthfully, North Dakota just doesn't offer very much. Yes, there are a few museums and local theaters, but they're spread out, small, and easy to run through in a weekend or two. If you're someone who enjoys art galleries, concerts, or new restaurants, you might find yourself traveling out of state just to experience something fresh. Even travel blogs, the ones usually excited about every destination, often say there's not much happening here. Of course, some folks don't mind a slower pace and a simpler lifestyle. But for many people, especially younger folks or retirees with time to explore, North Dakota can feel quiet in all the wrong ways. Reason 8. The bugs. You might think, bugs are everywhere, how bad can they really be in North Dakota? Well, surprisingly, they're pretty bad. Let's start with the pseudoscorpion, a tiny creature that looks like a scorpion but isn't one. It's not deadly, but imagine finding one of those crawling around your living room. But the one that really makes people squirm is the assassin bug. Its name says it all. It stabs its prey with a needle-like mouth and injects venom that can cause serious pain, enough to send people running to the hospital. So if you're planning to enjoy North Dakota's great outdoors, just know you might be sharing it with some of the creepiest bugs in the country. Reason 9. Housing problems. You might assume that with all that open land, housing in North Dakota would be easy to find, but that's not exactly how it works. Right now, the state has a shortage of over 13,000 affordable rental units, and for a population under 800,000, that's a big gap. About 1 in 10 people in North Dakota live below the poverty line, which makes this housing shortage even more serious. Even for those who do find a place, housing isn't always affordable. Experts say you shouldn't spend more than 30% of your income on rent, but in North Dakota, nearly 4 in 10 renters spend more than that. That means many people are stretching their budgets just to keep a roof over their heads. And when housing is limited, expensive, or hard to come by even in a place full of land, it makes settling down a real challenge. It's one more reason why, despite all the space, so few people are putting down roots here. Reason 10. No cuisine. Now let's talk about something near and dear to a lot of hearts: food. If you're a foodie, North Dakota might not be the place for you. The local cuisine here is often described as plain or old-fashioned, and that's putting it kindly. You won't find much in the way of sushi, Thai, or trendy taco joints unless you're ready for a long drive. Even the Food Network, which usually celebrates regional flavors, had a hard time dressing up North Dakota's food list. That's not to say there's no good food, just that variety and bold flavors are in short supply. For people who enjoy trying new dishes, exploring different cultures through cuisine, or just grabbing great takeout, this can be a real letdown. And in the long run, a bland food scene can make a place feel, well, bland to live in too. Reason 11, lack of diversity. Another thing that makes North Dakota a tough sell for some folks is its lack of diversity. If you're someone who enjoys meeting people from all walks of life, different cultures, backgrounds, or beliefs, this might not feel like the right fit. A recent study from WalletHub ranked all the states by diversity, and North Dakota came in at number 41 out of 50. It scored especially low in cultural diversity, like race and ethnicity, and household diversity, such as different age groups living together. Now, you might wonder, why does this matter? Well, research shows that diverse communities often lead to better schools, stronger workplaces, and more creative thinking overall. When you live in a place where people bring different ideas and experiences to the table, everyone benefits. But in North Dakota, those kinds of connections can be harder to find. Reason 12, boom and bust population cycles. Earlier, we talked about how North Dakota can feel empty, lonely, or lacking in culture, but those feelings are rooted in real population trends. While North Dakota's population hit a record high of over 789,000 in 2023, that number doesn't tell the full story. The state saw a big boom in the 2010 second, thanks mostly to the oil industry, but much of that growth was temporary. Big cities like Fargo and Bismarck are doing well, but over half of North Dakota's counties are actually still losing people. Most of the newcomers were younger and more diverse, but many moved on once oil jobs dried up or housing became too expensive. Rural towns are still struggling, losing young people, jobs, and even basic infrastructure like sidewalks and grocery stores. So while North Dakota looks like it's growing, it's more like a wave rising fast, then receding again. And for people thinking about putting down roots, that kind of instability can be a deal breaker. North Dakota's low population isn't just about space. It's the result of harsh weather, a volatile resource-based economy, decades of rural outmigration, and limited job and housing opportunities outside key industries. Even recent population growth has been uneven and temporary, concentrated in oil-producing areas and a few urban centers, while most rural counties continue to shrink. Still, the state has potential. With serious investment in economic diversification, rural infrastructure, and housing reform, North Dakota could stabilize its population and build more sustainable communities. What do you think? Will North Dakota ever shake its empty image? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.